Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Violet Sky role-playing game. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this Post-Apocaweird RPG, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about more vocations, starting with the farmer. Farmers do the most important job in the current world. They provide food and drinks. Farmers in today's Europe are landowners who work hard every day on the field and with their farm animals. They are a tough folk with good work ethics and simple but honest morals. You don't want to piss off a farmer, or the only thing you will be eating today is some lead. You start out with equipment such as a shotgun with absurdly large barrel, a very durable shovel, and a trained swine. When it comes to farmer choices, what was your job at the farm? Maybe you were a breeder. You took care of the animals. You start out with extra equipment. You made metal rings around your swine's tusks, dealing more damage, adding damage to its attack, and a cool custom armor of trash, adding to its defense. Maybe you were a farm guard. Your job was to make sure everyone was safe during the harvest season. In this case, you start with a sniper rifle instead of a shotgun. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as farm cuisine. You can prepare special food for people whenever everyone is resting. Everyone who wants a special dish from the farmer must spend a ration as normal, and you choose one option from 3 things, such as a meaty dish. The character restores a number of stamina points. Or perhaps you want to try out the working man's plate. The character gains a special food token for the next day. You can use this token before performing a might or speed check to get a bonus. There is the trick known as honest work. You get a bonus whenever you are performing work that requires raw strength, such as building something, lifting, carrying, etc. When it comes to your story question, where was your land located and what happened to your family? Next we have the Gladiator. Gladiators are warriors who fight on streets and arenas of the ruined Europe. They fight for money and fame, and the best gladiators are able to live as superstars in their city, or they get a nice job position as a veteran bodyguard of a VIP. Not every gladiator is, however, money hungry. Some of them fight for the fight alone, and they constantly seek more powerful opponents until they finally feel the thrill they were looking for all their life. You start out with equipment such as an iron pipe with nails, a street sign remade to a shield, and a durable line to tie up assholes. When it comes to your choice, where did you fight? Perhaps on the street. You mostly fought on the streets and in bars, and took bets from drunk people. Raw, uncontrolled carnage. You start out with a golden tooth in your pocket that could be worth something, although you cannot remember to whom it belonged to before. Maybe you fought in the arena. You were a regular on the arena, constantly trying to impress the crowds. You start out with a battered old breastplate. Safety first. It obviously adds to your defense. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as battle scars, which gives you more points to stamina. You also have kill me. You may try to provoke someone to fight you by rolling might if you are showing off, or aura if you talk tough. The target rolls aura and must be able to fight. You get a bonus during this opposed roll. We will talk about the rules in a future part of this review. Your story question is, where did you fight, and who gave you those nasty scars on your body? Next we have the judge. I am the law. Judges are soldiers of the Arbiter faction. They travel the world in small groups, solving problems and removing dangerous entities, if the local people are willing to sign a contract. You could call them policemen for hire, and a lot of them may seem corrupt, but there are some brilliant judges who truly wish to spread order in the ruined Europe. From time to time, solitary judges leave the heavily guarded Arbiter forts, Sometimes they are sent on special missions, but some of them are simply relieved from their duties, and they wander the world as ex-judges. You start out with equipment such as a big ornamented pistol, a rubber bat, and judge documents. When it comes to judge choices, where did you serve? Perhaps you served in an urban fort. Your fort's job was to make sure the scum living in the city would listen. Your extra equipment is that your rubber bat also has a battery and wires under voltage, so this adds to its damage. Maybe you served in an underground fort. Your job was not to protect and serve people, but instead to protect other arbiters. You were doing some strange business and experiments in a hidden base. You start out with a Peace Ray laser pistol instead of a normal pistol, and instead of bullets you have a battery. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as hold position. You may use a quick action during combat to add a random number of stamina points to an ally you are able to see and communicate with. These stamina points are lost when combat ends. There is also the Arbiter badge. You start with a number of reputation points in the Arbiter faction. When it comes to your story question, what friends did you make in the fort? Next we have the Junker. Most of the people who you would call normal in today's Europe are Junkers. It's thanks to them and their junk guilds some cities still exist and are able to trade to provide accommodation for more people. As the name suggests, Junkers deal with junk. They build massive structures and walls where their guilds can flourish, and they spend day and night on one of the million junkyards of the world in search for useful stuff. Even though their settlements have to often rely on other factions, they are a tough folk that is able to build a small kingdom from scrap. You start out with a metal detector, a sharp shovel, and a flashlight, among other things. When it comes to your choices, what was your main role in the Junker Society? Maybe you were a scavenger. You were scavenging the region with your group for useful scraps, so you start the game with a hand cart. Maybe you were a builder. Together with others, you kept raising new structures and you made sure the walls were intact. You start out with a small welder, which can cut metal with heat or merge it. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as Wireman. You get a bonus whenever you try to repair or build something. You also have Junk Vision. At the end of every session, if you are in a civilized area or in an area with a lot of junk, you make a roll. And depending on that roll, at the start of the next session, you find an electronic device worth that much. You describe what it is. Concerning your story question, where was your settlement located? And what happened to it? And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to continue taking a look at these vocations. I think that the farmer vocation is great to act as support. If needed, you can support others in combat with your wild swine, with those implementations or improvements because of the breeder choice. Or maybe because of your sniper rifle you can support people from afar. But you also have other things such as providing food and drink for the rest of the group. That way you can heal them or give them a bonus in checks. When it comes to the Gladiator, you are pretty much the fighter or melee combatant of this post-apocalypse setting. You are there to take bullets, to take damage, to take attacks, and keep the other members of the group safe. The role is pretty straightforward, and it's also quite fun, because you can take greater risks because of that added protection provided by your junk armor and shield and your natural or perhaps unnatural stamina. When it comes to the judge, you are basically Judge Dredd in this setting. You are a team player in this case. There are choices and tricks that work great together with the other members of the group. You deal decent damage, you can provide some support and protection to the other members, and perhaps you could obtain support from the Arbiter faction. When compared to the Gladiator, the Judge is a bit more indirect, as a sort of tank or frontliner role. Concerning the Junker, he seems like a jack of all trades, especially because of that extra junk that you can fashion or create into devices, perhaps weapons, but you could also create other tools, and when it comes to repairing and building things, you are the best at that. So this one could also be considered a support or perhaps a utility based class. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending right through RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.